Hey leaders, hope you're doing well. This Wednesday, after we celebrate the Eucharist, we're going to go into our breakout groups just like normal. But there's something that I'm really hoping you can begin teaching in that space. It's something that I have ended up calling the check-in. And it asks 3 really basic entry-level questions around who we are, how we're doing in our relationship with Jesus, and how we're hoping to mature in that. They're like this. The first one you're going to recognize, but I want to make sure that you start doing it even in your breakout spaces. And it's the glory sighting question. In a smaller group, you have the opportunity to continue coaching them and saying that this question is really focused on what God is doing. It's not so much about my activity or the fact that I got a particular grade or got into some particular team. It's how have I seen God at work? And it's okay not to have one. So please make sure you're starting to put glory sightings into that space. Spend only a few moments on that, though, for each student. The second question is a bit more challenging, and it's the one I really want to make sure you get to this week. It's the question of how is your soul? And this is a relationship question. It's asking about the student's relationship with God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Now, in order to do this in a relatively short time with the number of students that you have, I encourage you, look at the notes in the email, but I encourage you to try to do this either on a number scale, say 1 through 10, or by inviting them to use a single word. For instance, if you asked me today how my soul was, I would say, today, I'm steady. Or if you said on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being a giant hug with God and 1 being walking away screaming and flipping the bird, I would say today I'm at 8.5. So that's a quick way of assessing how we're doing in our relationship with God. And this is a really important process for us. The third question is, what action do I intend to take to become more like Jesus? Give them just a few minutes to think about this and use some of the stuff they're using in school right now, the SMART goals, that it's specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, and time-bound. For instance, if you say, what are you going to do this week to become more like Jesus? Some of them are going to say something like, I want to pray more or read the Bible some. And those aren't very specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, or time-bound. You might even have somebody say, I'm going to fast 7 days this week. That's not realistic. So help them come up with a manageable goal, a SMART goal for their own following of Jesus. For instance, here's mine. I fast once a week, 1 day a week, and then every day I'm trying to kneel 1 time. It's that kneeling one that I'm really struggling with, if I'm going to be honest with you. So we're going to do these questions. We're going to lean into this. And here's why. If we're training our students to look for God, and if after they're talking about how they've seen God, they start taking stock of their spiritual well-being, their soul, then they're going to make a plan for how that continues. And if they practice this spiritual discipline in the course of the week, they're going to come back, and odds are they're going to have seen God at work. And then they're going to be able to tell you a little bit more about how their soul is. And then they're going to make an informed decision on what action they're going to take from here on out. So we're going to invite these questions here in our breakouts. And just so you know, we're starting this week. You don't have to get to all 3 questions on Wednesday, but we're going to start building toward it. And I think it's going to be really important for us as we enter into some hard conversations in November. Hope you're doing well. I greatly appreciate your spiritual leadership of our students. Thanks so much. I'll see you Wednesday.